Hello, everyone. I'm joined here by Mr. Vivek Kumar Yadav, who is a serving director of IT and cybersecurity right now in defense, as well as previously you were the joint director of cybersecurity and quantum at MITI. Also, having served 14 years in the Indian Navy, sir. So, thank you so much for your service as well as for being on an interview with us today.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Great, sir. So to begin with, I would like to understand how did you first get pulled into the cybersecurity field and later in the cyber defense space?
As you have already said that I'm a naval officer. I have basically got into the Navy or commissioned into the Navy in the year 2010. I got directly selected from my college. Uh, uh, Obviously, everybody who becomes a officer in the Navy, they have to go through Services Selection Board or SSB. So that's how I get into. I got into the elite electrical branch of the Indian Navy. Electrical branch basically it works on various fields. It works on electrical, electronics, and IT is one of the verticals on which we work. So when it comes to IT, the cyber security is something which is inherent to IT sector. So that's the way I basically my first interaction with IT was because uh, being from a background of electronics and communication, because my BTech was in electronics and communication. So I was not much basically inclined towards cybersecurity then, but then when I started working in the defense and I saw that the interconnectedness of the systems which are there, and it is humongous, the nodes on which the Navy is working, uh, the, 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 the intensity with which the Navy's IT vision is. So there were proliferation of IT everywhere, but the cybersecurity was somewhere basically lagging. That's when the IT branch of the Navy got opened, and then they started these officers to be trained on IT and related technology. So that's when I also got trained. I am also an MTech from IIT Kanpur in computer science and engineering. So my first starting, if I say, of cybersecurity happened from there. Why? Because I took a network security and cybersecurity class, which is been taught by the present director of IITH Hyderabad. Sandeep Shukla sir. So he was my mentor and guide. So so there were multiple number of CTFs which we used to play, and somehow I did great and those CTFs. So those challenges actually they used to push my limits of thinking, uh, because I think if you want to be in cybersecurity or network security, you have to have a mindset of somebody who is an attacker. So I have got that particular mindset. That's something which I realized from there. And later on, while doing that, what happened was that one of the naval sites which was there, I cannot name it because it is obviously an open forum. So I, while I was doing that, I scanned that particular site, found out some vulnerabilities on the naval side. I disclose those vulnerabilities to the Navy, and that's how my journey actually started. And Navy pulled me to one of the organization which is known as VESI, which is an R&D organization of the Indian Navy. There, again, I worked on systems level security and systems engineering understanding there. And after that, I got basically uh, diverted to Ministry of Electronics and IT, and there I was heading, as you have already said, I was heading the cybersecurity and quantum vertical there. So, newer and newer technologies I started working on, and presently I'm also pursuing my uh, doctoral thesis on the same topic on zero trust architecture. That is also from IIT. So that is my journey, more or less. Mainly, it started by, I must say, it started with my interest in that particular subject. But then that interest grew so much that it actually took a complete career shift for me.
Definitely. And of course, given your past in defense, like how you mentioned, there is a certain way, there's a ladder to climb. And across, when you climb these ladders, you come across a lot of different situations, different learnings that you get, insights that you get. So is there any one key moment that you can tell us that has actually shaped your thinking or your ideology today when you look at cybersecurity?
So yeah, so what has happened was that I will not name the organization again, because when I was posted in that organization, what has happened was that there was this one of our sailors, and he was going through the corridors, and he found out a small pen drive which was dropped, and that pen drive used to resemble the pen drive which we used to use in our organization. So he thought it must be a pen drive of somebody. What he did, he took that pen drive and he inserted in one of the computers.
Okay.
And that was a malware infested pen drive. And it was a nightmare to basically handle that particular situation. So that is one turning point when I started my working towards the attack cyber security which is there. So most of the time we talk that people are working in the defense side and the attack side. So it basically changed my interest to work in the attack side of it. So how an attacker thinks, how an hacker thinks. So actual red teaming work which has been done in the organization. So that's how.
Definitely. That's actually very important to learn that yes, cybersecurity is very important, and being situationally aware also is very important. But I think one key thing that people often forget is that even the training, the awareness that each person has, that okay, now, like you mentioned, they found a USB, and we see this pen drive, you're like, okay, great, more storage for us, we can use it. But people are usually not aware, even on organizational levels, with phishing and other kind of malware, Trojan attacks that happen. Uh, these all result in very severe losses in enterprises, especially. So when we look at this kind of a threat, like what is your advice that you would give to upcoming professionals who are actually looking to be a part of cybersecurity? There's different sects, like you said. You can be either a part of the red team, you can be a part of the blue team, or you can be a part of, there's a cybersecurity like in everything. Even in HR nowadays, they do have certain teams that are like, okay, we are here, we exist in this organization just for raising awareness among the people. So, on a quarterly basis, maybe they'll send out an email and they'll be like, okay, we'll see who comes in. So, what would be your advice for people who are looking to, look at every aspect of cybersecurity?
So, cybersecurity, if you ask me, it is like a growing field as of now, and the demand of cybersecurity professionals, if you see the stats, it's huge. And in India itself, if you see today the manpower which is required in various fields, it is very limited. The trained professionals are very less. If even if we find trained professionals, they are not of the quality which is required in this particular profession, because you require to have foundational knowledge of the system which people have forgotten. And more so with the AI boom which has come in, what people are doing is they are taking shortcuts, and the foundational aspects or the foundational subjects which you need to understand and the basic knowledge which you need to understand, that has got lost in the community. So firstly, cybersecurity is not one man's job. As you said that HRs have also now started becoming cyber trained. Actually, HR need to be cyber trained. Why? Because HR is somebody who inducts any human resource in any industry, or for that matter in the government sector. If they are cyber secure, probably at the level zero, when they are inducting somebody in an organization, at that level only they can understand, or the mindset of a person, that how cyber uh, educated that particular person is. Of course. If he's coming in HR, if he's coming in finance, any field. So cybersecurity is not the CISO's work, or cybersecurity is not just the IT and cyber security professional work. Your SOC will not be able to handle the uh, the level of threats which are there, because most of the threats which are prevalent today, uh, they will come from social engineering. Somebody will do a small social engineering, of course, yeah, on you, like I told you, the pen drive incident, which I just said, a small email probably from somebody in your mailbox, and a phone call to you saying I'm your manager and I need some access and I need it immediately. I don't think anybody will be able to deny his manager to do
Yes.
something. So these are small exercises which all they are happening. The awareness is there, but let me tell you, even today, the social angle is something which is the weakest link in entire cybersecurity chain. So obviously, all these places are needed to be strengthened. The CISOs have to be have the autonomy when they are taking the decisions. The CXOs or the CEOs of the organization, they have to back them up with the funding when they want, because without that the organization are going to get hit, and the brand or the reputation which is going to get lost for them, it's going to be humongous. So my advice to uh, all the corporates or the medias or for the matter the public sector organization is that this is uh, this is a reality, and cybersecurity is something in which you need to invest heavily. Why? Because with the agentic AI coming in now, the attacker is not going to be a human being. He's going to be a machine or an agent who is going to get into your system, and you don't know what they are going to do. They're going to make changes to your code bases. And they are much more effective than a human being, because human beings have obviously limited amount of uh, exploit level, yeah, resources to attack you. But then these AI bots, which are going to basically,
they can keep running no matter how much. So now pivoting towards quantum threat, like one of your core conversations is all, of course, around quantum. And there's a lot of noise in the market right now about the quantum threat and the impending doom of this. So how do you currently look at this in a practical real world situation?
So quantum threat, when we talk about, it is mainly uh, the threat is to uh, the integer factorization problem and the in the ECDLP, which is elliptic curve discrete logarithmic problem. So these are the two things. If the quantum computers materializes today, it's gonna basically break these algorithms, which are actually the backbone of the PKI infrastructure. Even the TCP/IP is using these algorithms. So the problem is that if it is going to happen, we are in a mess. And if we are not migrating to our PQC, uh, we are heading towards a doomsday. If whenever somebody gets a quantum computer, your entire data, which is at present encrypted, it's a plain text for them. So what I say is I'm not a naysayer or a deny. I don't deny the fact that we require to have quantum computers. We do require to have quantum computers, and then on the basis of that, we also do require to have a PQC migration. But what I want to say is that we don't need to hurry into the PQC migration. Why? Because if you see the ECC elliptic curve cryptography, which emerged by Neil Koblis, the algorithm came around, I think, 1985 or something, and then it took 20 years to mature. So it got field tested. Uh, there were trials which were happening. There were POCs which have been conducted. And on that basis, when it completely got matured, people started trusting it and using it. The same as happened with the other algorithms. So some algorithms which are there, uh, which we have been using for quite a quite some time, we have to trust those algorithms rather than trusting an algorithm which has just been made a couple of years back. Because if you ask me, these the post quantum algorithms which have been suggested, or the four algorithms which are the finalists of the challenge of the PQC migration, the few of the algorithms out of them they've already got broken. So any algorithm which has not been field tested correctly, how much trust you can put in those algorithms? That is something which I talk about. And my basically the thought process is this, that all these algorithms, if or the legacy algorithm which we talk, because if we are talking about PQC, all these algorithms are going to become legacy. So if we talk about these algorithms, and if we increase the key size of them, and there is a mathematical angle to it. I don't want to get into mathematics because there is a paper which has got a best paper award in the space. It says that if we increase the key size of these algorithms, the number of logical qubits which you require to break these legacy algorithms will be around 4,000 logical qubits. And realizing 4,000 logical qubits at present is quite challenging. So, with the kind of growth which we see today in the quantum computing, I don't think we need to rapidly hurry into this particular process, because if you are doing that, I don't know what kind of threat we are getting into. Why? Because these algorithms are not properly field tested, the post quantum algorithms which are there. And if those algorithms got broken and you are using them for your trust, your data will be available to everybody if that particular algorithm is got. So this is major basically what there's of course there's a chance of any point of entry being there. So while all this discussion is happening, and at every you go to any cybersecurity event, there is always a quantum post quantum readiness discussion always ready there. So I want to understand from you is, when you attend these events, when you see discussions online, when you read about them, what is something that is extremely overhyped and what is something that is extremely under discussed in this situation? So again, coming back to, because I'm a foundational guy, I always talk about foundation first. The thing is, most of the people, what they are doing is they are following the bandwagon. So what has happened that NIST came up with a challenge. They said we need to finalize uh, quantum post-quantum algorithms. They threw a challenge. There were 27 algorithms. Then they brought it down to four. Four algorithms became finalists. Then they decided you start using these algorithms. And from there, EU came up with their framework. UK came up with their framework. USA came up with their framework. So it was like, if we will not come up with any framework on post-quantum migration, we will be thought of as laggards. So that is the mentality which I think is there. And that's why we have also come up with a post-quantum migration strategy. And we are saying that by 2027, we should be quantum ready. That's okay. My point is that, do we need to migrate all our systems to post-quantum at present? I don't think so. Why? Because see, data has a life. So there is some data which will be which life will be for like 10 years, 12 years, or 15 years. There is some data which is a short-lived data. So why do you want to invest so much on a short-lived data? That data is like initial small transactions which you are making daily. Maybe let us suppose a 10 rupee transaction which you are making to a vendor. Is it required to be quantum safe? I don't think so. Because 10 rupee transaction, how it is going to be of value to somebody in the future? It's not going to be value of the future. But yeah, there is data, your Aadhaar data, your PII data, that is needed to be secured. That it needs to be secured post quantum, secure obviously. But then again, coming to the basic question, are these algorithms secure enough? If we migrate to these algorithms, is our data going to be secure? They need to be secure in the first place so that we can actually expect, there can be a level of trust with that, as well as I believe, like,
it's kind of like you're trying to shield yourself from one, and then you're jumping into, another kind of security issue. Yes.
We say "Asman se gira khajur pe atka." I don't want
Yes.
this to be happen like that, because let these algorithms get field tested, let these algorithms get matured, and when the maturity comes, we will have that kind of trust in the system that yeah, these algorithms can be used. Because see, it is mathematics, right? So math said maybe the algorithms which have been designed, there are good mathematicians, and they are obviously trying to solve these kind of challenges. But then if it is not getting solved today, maybe it may get solved tomorrow. So you never know when it is going to be solved. So it is just a cat and mice game between the attackers and the defenders. And attackers always have an upper edge. Why? Because they just have to be right one time.
Of course.
And you have to be right all the time. So PQC migration, I'm not saying it's not necessary, it is necessary, but the only thing is, if we have field tested algorithms which are there with us for a very long time, I think AES or ECC, what we should do is we must basically first trust these algorithms, have them have their key sizes increased, and start using them. That is the right way of doing it.
And definitely, it reminds me of, when, like basically when 2000s were approaching in 1999, towards the end of the thing.
Yeah.
Uh, the computer algorithm was not set to actually have 2000 as
Yeah.
their date. So
Yeah.
I remember there being a huge
2KY.
Yes. So I remember, and this feels kind of similar. It is kind of reminiscent of that, okay, we have to be prepared by next year. So if that is not the roadmap, like it's not necessary to be ready by 2027, how do you kind of align the ideal roadmap for enterprises today?
So if I give you a deadline or a date, it is going to be controversial because it is again my take on this. Uh, but despite, I don't mind if I get into a controversy for saying this, but I think uh, till 2035, uh, we are 100% secure if we use these algorithms with a stronger key size. Like, let me tell you, when I was in CDAC, Ministry of Electronics and IT, that time one of my colleague uh, has developed a 768-bit ECC algorithm. So the electric curve has already been generated, and that's, as far as I know, it's the world's largest uh, bit size ECC curve. So and it is ready to be used. So why don't we take that curve and start using it, and secure our systems using that particular algorithm, rather than using an algorithm which, I don't know, not field tested, not mature enough. So 2035, I think, is the deadline. I think I can extend it to 2040 also, but then it is uh, too immature for me to say this. Why? Because the kind of research which is happening in the quantum computing, it is humongous. Everybody is doing it, and never know when the quantum computers will come. Uh, the theory is that people must have already built a quantum computer, and they must have already harvested so much of your data, and they must be decrypting it now, and they are not revealing it. So those kinds of theories will always keep on popping up. But I think 2035 is a timeline.
Definitely, sir. So to end this conversation, I wanted to get your advice for, security leaders, CISOs, other tech leaders that are there out there, on what they should stop being paranoid about when it comes to their enterprise. So PQC is the one thing, PQR, but what other advice do you have for them for, safeguarding their organization?
So let me tell you, the biggest threat which I foresee today is not the quantum thing or the quantum revolution. The biggest threat is going to be AI. You have to fight with the agents, and the next attackers which are going to be, they are going to be the AI agents. So you have to somehow fight AI with the AI. So you have to have a defense mechanism also, which is AI based. So your SOCs, your CM solutions, everything has to be uh, trained on AI or with the data set which is real time, and it has to be basically it has to generate its own mechanism to fight with those kind of AI agents, because that is going to be very difficult for us to fight. Why? Because the compute power has become available to everybody nowadays, and it is very easy. And the kind with that kind of computing power, the adversaries have also become very hard to tackle. So AI is one threat which I think the organization have to prepare themselves and brace themselves to be basically, and have to be heavily invested on those particular things. But then when they are doing it, the problem is in the present community that if one organization is using some product, the other organization, what they do is they try to emulate that particular entire stack which they are using. And they think if that particular organization is secure, maybe I'm also secure. Like, let me give you an example. If a bank or a renowned bank is using some kind of technology in their SOC, I'll also replicate the same in my organization. I'll say I'm also secure. But that's not how it works. So your CISOs, your CIOs, they have to be foundationally basically learned. They have to understand the basics first before they talk about the product level security itself. Uh, that is something which I found lacking, and I think the CEOs or the organization have to recruit people who have got good foundational skills. That is something which I want to.
All right, so thank you so much for sitting down and having this conversation with me. It was quite insightful, and honestly, it does disperse the fear in the market today that okay, now this is go 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 times. It's not the D-Day yet. So definitely your words have helped calm that down, and I hope to again have this conversation in the future when quantum becomes a reality as well.
Thank you so much for having me here. And it was a good talking to you on this particular topic. It is really very close to my heart. Cybersecurity is obviously close to my heart, but then quantum is something which I'm researching, and I'm learning a lot. Uh, it is, and obviously we certainly will have a conversation when it becomes a reality. And I wish that the timelines which I have mentioned, they are going to be the real timelines and not the timelines which others are saying. So maybe we'll have a conversation again in 2035 when it matures. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so